guys, this is Lala Legacy, back with another episode of SeaBed. So, let's jump right back in. I'll be confiscating this. But that's my fuel! Takako spun around as Fumi made a crooked smile behind her back. The sound you make is bothering everyone. If you can't eat them in silence, if you can't eat them in silence, then chew on this instead. Oh, wait, that's Sachiko. Whoops. I held up a piece of mint gum in front of her face. Takako opened her mouth, biting the gum straight out of my hand. Gum doesn't make me feel like I've eaten anything, but I guess it's better than nothing. I placed the candy bottle on my desk and resumed my accounting work. I gave the completely unfazed Takako an exasperated look. Fumi did the same. I'm sorry, but did that remind you of an episode of The Office? A chair let out a pleading creak. Takako, sitting backwards with her arms wrapped around the backrest, spun around to face another one of our employees, Inukai Takahiko. Inukai, tell me something interesting. During that meeting regarding confectionery packages, Inukai gave Fumi a quick glance. Inukai? Fumi, still immersed in work, murmured his name in a menacing tone. Inukai and Fumi were sitting in the reception room. In the reception room. Oh wait, no. Whoops! On the reception room sofa next to each other. Yeah, okay, they worded it right. I was the one who read it wrong. In front of them sat a representative from a confectionery company. Various drafts for package design ideas brainstormed by Fumi were lined up on the coffee table between them. I think using a caramel case for the label of this product would be better. Oh. That was her talking. Okay. Fumi pointed at the letters on the design they were all looking at. The guest cocked his head. And so, we have a design of candies interspersed between a wave of letters. Fumi continued on her own, ignoring the two men with almost visible question marks above their heads. As Fumi finally paused and gave the silent guest a questioning look, it was as though an exclamation mark appeared above Inukai's head. Fumi, I'm sorry, but could it be that you meant camel case? It seems like she's been using it wrong all her life. And not like either name makes sense in context. Fumi raised her hands in exasperation. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading today. Well, caramel at least sounds tastier. As Takako gave Fumi a patronizing look, the chime of a bell similar to that of the school's abruptly filled the room. Thanks for the funny story, Inukai. Takako stood up as the afternoon bell faded away. Sachi, it's time for lunch! She leaned over my monitor to stare at my face. I'm not deaf. Go ahead of me. I'll join you after I finish this. I'll be waiting for you with a cup of tea. I'll make it. Takako and Fumi trotted into the kitchen, leaving Inukai and me alone in the office. Before long, I finished my papers. I pulled out a lunchbox out of my bag and stood up, noticing that Inukai was still working at his desk. Are you not going to have lunch? I'm leaving in a minute. Well, what's your plan for today? I was in a bit of a seafood donburi mood. The place is going to be full by now. Well, if there's no space, I'll make do with a regular gyudon. Inukai pulled a coin purse out of the jacket hanging on the back of his chair. Why don't you eat here with us for a change, like you did before? I've been here long enough to know better. I see. I'll join you some other time when I'm more in the mood. Inukai pushed the office door open and left, while I continued into the reception area. Takako and Fumi were sitting on the sofa watching TV. Scorpio's lucky item for today is a red umbrella, said the loudly dressed woman on TV. Miss Takako, they're talking about your sign. An umbrella? It's not even raining outside, and red? Seriously? A cloudless blue sky stretched beyond the window. I imagine you'd stand outside with a red umbrella on a day like this. Fumi then added, It's not like you're the type to believe in fortune-telling anyway. Hello! Fumi turned to me as I closed the door behind me. The reception room had a low rectangle-shaped table and two sofas facing each other on each of its sides. The two were sitting on opposite sofas at the further end near the TV. I believe in it if it's good. I sat down next to Takako. Here you go. I wonder what's in it today! I handed Takako her lunchbox. I fried yesterday's chicken leftovers with bean jam, and then added the usual scrambled eggs, fried rice, and miso soup. I placed the miso soup's flask on the table. Chili sauce! I really like this one! Takako was happy to see I didn't forget one of her favorites. Let's dig in. I opened my own, otherwise completely identical, lunchbox and picked up the chopsticks. Takako was showing her lunch to Fumi. I'm a bit jealous, to be honest. I wish Miss Sachiko made lunch for me too. Meanwhile, Fumi's lunchbox contained stuffed peppers, slices of boiled egg, and an entire assortment of vegetables. Cabbage, tomatoes, stuff like that. Everything was ordered to maximize the effect of the colors. I see you always go the extra mile to make your lunches visibly appealing. Thank you very much! Let's eat! Takako chose to start with her scrambled eggs. Or otherwise, tamagoyaki. Oh my god, that sounds so good right now. Ugh. I fucking love tamagoyaki. I make it at home and it's delicious. So did I. After using my chopsticks to separate my scrambled eggs into two smaller pieces, I popped one into my mouth. It had a slightly strong taste. Isn't it spicier than usual? Oh wait, no, isn't it spicier than usual? Isn't that how you prefer it? Yeah, but... I tried the other ingredients one after another. The chili sauce I made yesterday turned out just right. After spending some time eating, I took a sip of Fumi's tea, letting the sweet fragrance of apples tickle my nostrils. Ooh. Oh my god, apple tea or apple blossom tea sounds so good. Why is this making me hungry and wanting tea? This brand is called London Flavored Tea. My uncle got it for me as a souvenir, and I really enjoyed it, so I figured I'd share it with you. The sweetness and bitterness were just right, and despite the strong smell of apples, I could not identify any sourness. It tasted like a perfect cup of red tea. It's very good. I left the package in the cupboard, so feel free to make it yourself, or for yourselves. Takako took a sip from her own cup. It's bitter! Looking at Takako's sour expression, I couldn't suppress a faint smile. I prefer sweet apple tea. And with that, she returned to eating her lunch. Now I want tamagoyaki and apple blossom tea. Ugh. The apple blossom tea that I had before also had hibiscus in it, and it was so good. All the windows in the office were open wide, the curtains around them quivering as the odd, light breeze would find its way into the room. I could hear the uneven buzzing of the cicadas, like a server machine of sorts from outside. It's hot! As I was inspecting Inukai's design at my desk, Takako paused her work and faced Fumi at the desk opposing hers. Fumi gave her a short glance, but said nothing. Inukai continued his work in silence. I didn't know these things still kept buzzing in October. Takako picked the paper fan off of her desk and started fanning herself. Maybe it's global warming. El Nino, or however they called it. Fumi finally joined the conversation. Is that for real? For real? Don't you watch TV? The news are all full of these climate phenomena lately. I recall seeing something about that last year. But if it's abnormal every year, doesn't that make the abnormality normal instead? Summers do feel longer lately. Takako started fanning herself more strongly, letting out a contemplative groan. I wonder how long it'll continue this year. They said the heat wave might continue till the end of November. Then when is autumn going to come? Do your job, people! I'd appreciate it if you did yours too. Hey, can I turn on the air conditioner? I glanced out the window Takako had just opened. The curtains were swaying ever so faintly as a light breeze entered the room. The wind's blowing inside. You can handle a bit of hot air, can't you? I pointed at the wall next to the entrance. The place where the air conditioner's control panel was. On top of it was a sticker with the words, "Save power, save money" written on it. And wasn't it you who put that sticker on there to begin with? Oh, was it? Takako grabbed a bottle of water and started loudly gulping its contents down. After finishing the entire bottle, she returned to work. I feel like I'm going to melt! Raising her hands, she leaned against her chair. Don't worry, we'll turn on the air conditioner if you do. Fumi addressed Takako with her eyes still glued on the monitor. Can I take your word on that? And we'll make sure to put what's left of you in the ice cube tray in the freezer so you solidify again. Takako lightly pressed her bent index finger against her jaw. I don't want to become a cube. If you start melting, I'm vacating the premises right away. Inukai joined the conversation as well. Hold your goddamn horses! At least call an ambulance for me. I would appreciate it if you would stop running your mouths and return to work. Okay, that's it. Now I've grown conscious of the heat. I can't put it out of my mind. Not even changing my wallpaper to the cool sea is helping. Maybe you should try listening to some soothing music. Fumi handed Takako a CD case over their monitors. This is the electronic music I'm currently listening to. Fumi pointed at her headphones. Electronic music? The one they make with the synthesizers and stuff, right? Does it really cool you down? Takako inspected the back of the CD case. It's a Folktronica summer special. The rhythm is inspired by the flow of water, so it makes you feel like you're cooling off under the sea. Fumi was passionately gesticulating with her hands and head as she explained all this. I can't focus while listening to music. Really? I would say I have a harder time concentrating without it. Fumi took out a bag from one of her desk's drawers. Then maybe you would prefer this? She pulled out a small blue tube and handed it to Takako. What's this? Mint gel. You have to put it on your neck like this. Fumi made a neck stroking motion. Takako imitated her movements, rubbing the gel from the tube on her neck. How is it? I don't feel anything gel. What? That's not how it works. With that, Fumi returned to work. Aren't you hot, Inukai? Takako turned to Inukai next. Inukai's fingers, previously dancing on the keyboard at a brisk pace, had now halted. Hot? I didn't notice until you mentioned it. I don't feel it much if I concentrate on the job at hand. Inukai readjusted his glasses. That's the problem, I can't concentrate! Takako leaned heavily against the back of her chair. How about you take a break and cool down? That might be a good idea! Pressing her hand against the back of her chair, Takako was about to stand up. Wait, they're having a sale at the grocery store today, right? Yeah. Wonder if I should make curry tonight when we get home early. Takako fell back on her seat. Uh-oh. Let's do our best to finish finish on time today. Oh no, she wants curry! And began frantically typing at her keyboard. Well, that was simple. Takako Tamer. Inukai and Fumi had something to say. Look, I'm not a beastmaster, she's just simple as an animal. Yo, a private convo's during work go against protocol! Are you planning to stay late and cash in on the overtime? 3 pairs of eyes shifted to Takako. Yeah, you're one to speak, girl. Oh boy, a clock. I suppose that's it for today. I'll be leaving then. Bye! As the lights began to turn on in the corridors, Inukai left the office with his bag and jacket in hand. Fumi had a personal errand to run, so she left at the usual time. Takako opened the door to the office shortly after Inukai had left. Where's Inukai? He just left. Did you need him for something? No. Takako returned to her desk and sat down on her chair. You're about done, right? Yes. All the program windows on my monitor had already been closed. It's pretty late, so I guess it'd be too much of a pain to go ahead with the curry plan. Wanna eat out somewhere? We were so busy this month I couldn't even spend almost any of my money. I suppose you're right. We can go. Takako stood up, flashing a smile. I'll switch the lights off. You just take care of the lock. Alright. Takako disappeared beyond the door. I locked the windows as well as the door to the kitchen. Then I pulled down the blinds too. As I flipped the light switch near the entrance, the room was swallowed by darkness. All of the electronic devices were safely turned off. I could only hear the buzzing of the fridge from the kitchen. I left the office, locked the doors from outside, and continued down the dark corridor illuminated only by a set of dim LED lights. Takako was waiting for me in the car by the entrance. I opened the door and sat in the seat next to her. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you are becoming part of a legacy. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!